Okay, let's talk Jalen versus Brock. In a lot of ways, they're like opposites. One thing I've noticed real quick is that Brock is nails when he's winning, usually. And when he's losing, sometimes he can take some chances and turn the ball over. For whatever reason, Jalen Hurts is just atrocious when he's winning this year. His quarterback rating is like 65. But when he's losing, his quarterback rating is like 121. We saw it last night. When he's down, he turns into a superstar in the second half. I haven't seen a quarterback flip a switch like that since prime Russell Wilson. What do you see as similarities and differences between these two?
I don't see a lot of similarities, to be honest. I think they're different. They're very different. They're both good for their offense that they run. Brock Purdy, statistically, if you look at him, he's dominating and better than Jalen Hurts statistically in almost every way. It's just
as a passer, for sure.
As a passer, right? Not in a run game.
Completion percentage, yards per attempt,
QB rating,
T ratio.
Yeah, everything. So he's dominating. The biggest difference between those two is that Jalen Hurts has shown that in those situations, those clutch situations when they need him to orchestrate a comeback win and win the game for his team, he finds a way to do it every time. And Brock Purdy has really not done that yet. And in those situations, he's not stepped up and done the opposite. So Brock Purdy, if you look at his numbers, he's killing Jalen Hurts right now, except for the most important thing, which is, can you put the team on your back and guide them to a victory? And Jalen Hurts did it last night. I think you posted a statistic that shows he's done it 4 times just this year.
8 times in his career. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And so now that doesn't mean Brock Purdy can't do it.
Doesn't mean that at all.
Or that he won't do it this Sunday. He might do it this Sunday. But I think if we're just being honest about what their strengths and weaknesses are, I think you want Brock Purdy to be your quarterback in quarters 1 through 3. And you want Jalen Hurts to be your quarterback in the 4th.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you break it down in terms of skill set, you could say I'd rather have a quarterback with Brock Purdy's skill set than Hurts' skill set, because Purdy's just a superior passer. And a lot of what makes Jalen Hurts good is his rushing. I mean, he's 11 rushing touchdowns this year. That's the same amount as Christian McCaffrey. He's a goal line back as a quarterback, and he's so effective at that. But that's not really sustainable, and it's not really what you're looking for in a quarterback. And yeah, but what you really want in a quarterback beyond their skill set is, what are they going to do with the game on the line in the 4th quarter? What are they going to do against the Chiefs when they're down 10 in the 4th quarter? What are they going to do? We know what Jalen Hurts is going to do. He's going to elevate his game most of the time and give the Eagles multiple chances to win. With Purdy, we don't know what he's going to do. We've had glimpses, and it hasn't been good. In fact, it's been kind of shockingly scary. Some of these turnovers that he commits with the game on the line in the 4th quarter when he's trailing by just a few points. We saw it against Minnesota and Cincinnati. So something that he has to prove.
That's the biggest difference between these guys as far as what sets them apart. Again, I don't see much similarities in their game. I like Brock Purdy in this offense way better than Jalen Hurts. You would have to change the offense, I think, if you had Jalen Hurts on the 49ers. So I think both quarterbacks are better for their situation, better for their offense. But like I said, Brock Purdy, he's got a tremendous opportunity this coming Sunday. If he can guide the 49ers to a victory over the Eagles, especially after what happened last year and how he was injured and how they lost the game. If he can do that, he has an opportunity to check another box this coming Sunday, and I hope he takes advantage of it.
One of the things I think is so interesting about Hurts is that, like, one of the top, if you're doing a scouting report of Jalen Hurts, one of the top things in his strengths is the quarterback sneak. And you laugh, but it's such a huge part of his game. Of his 11 rushing touchdowns, I'm sure a bunch of them are quarterback sneaks. You call that whatever, tush push or whatever they call that. It's so effective. It's such a big part of his game. And frankly, it's not something that Brock Purdy does super well. And that weapon, I think, is just 1 yard. But to be able to get 1 yard at will whenever you want it changes everything. And watching the Eagles like that, the fact that they can do that means on 3rd and 7, they don't have to pass. They pass on like 1st and 2nd down when you don't quite know. But anytime they're in a situation where you think they have to pass, nope, they can play for 4th down. They can run quarterback draw on 3rd and 6, get to 4th and 1, and they're going to convert that. All because he's a quarterback sneak extraordinaire. Kind of interesting.
If they got 1.5 yards to go, you might as well. It's a 1st down. I think what's their conversion rate? Like 95%, something really high like that. So, I mean, the Niners got to do a great job on 1st and 2nd down to to hold them to like 3 yards. Like you want them at least 3 and 3, right? 3rd and 3. You don't want them at 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, or they're going to convert that. They have over and over again at 95% conversion rate. And I don't think the 49ers necessarily are going to be the team to stop that. We did see Fred Warner dive over the pile. I forget what game that was. He dove over the pile and jumped on the quarterback. I mean, that's really the only alternative plan. But you saw the Eagles are going outside off of that too, right? They'll fake the tush push, and then they'll have somebody come in motion and they'll go outside on people. So it's a very hard play to stop. They got to be tremendous on 1st and 2nd down. That's really going to be the key to stopping the Eagles on these long drives that they're able to sustain because of the tush push, which I hate saying, but yeah.
I think it's one thing these two quarterbacks have in common is they're better when they get the ball out of their hands quickly. Like they're really good operating the systems on their team. And then when it's time to like make plays, they can do it, Hurts and Purdy. But I think like that's when they get into trouble. Like that's when they turn the ball over. That's when they try to do a little too much. Like they're good, but they're not Patrick Mahomes. And I think sometimes they think they are because they win all the freaking time. They have so much success. But when they get outside the pocket, they're good. But sometimes I think they try to do a little too much. And really the issue with Hurts this year has been turnovers. He's been turning the ball over more than Purdy. And the way he's playing now, we saw it last night. He's going to give the Niners a few opportunities. If the Niners win this game, it could be because of turnovers.
You saw that. You know what, that pass, if you guys watched the game last night, the pass that Jalen Hurts threw is in the back of the end zone over 2 defenders. It actually reminded me of the pass that Purdy threw that Kyle said was like the worst decision he's ever made. It was that close. So, yeah, they're very similar in that regard where they have that gunslinger mentality where they want to like you said, they want to be that Patrick Mahomes type player. And then sometimes that can bite them in the butt. So far, it hasn't hurt Brock too often, but it has been hurting Jalen a little bit this year. But, hey, they're 10-1. So it's not hurting them too bad. We're going to see, man. I can't wait for this game. Jalen Hurts versus Brock Purdy, their O-line versus our D-line. There's so many matchups that I'm going to be watching. Really looking forward to it, man.